You're watching News Channel 11 on ABC Tri-Cities at 9.
Good morning. It is 9 o'clock on the dot on this sunny, beautiful Monday.
Today, a couple of weeks away. Good morning and thanks for choosing ABC Tri-Cities at 9. I'm Casey Marlin.
And I'm Sydney Cameron. And our top stories are just ahead. But first, we want to check in with meteorologist Jeremy Eisenzoff because it is all sunshine today.
It sure is. What a nice morning, Jeremy.
It certainly is beautiful out there. The air's drier and
as long as it's nothing like last week, we're good.
That's right, where there was a slim chance of sunshine amongst all the raindrops. Yeah. Jeremy, we'll talk to you in just a few minutes.
Time now is 9:02 and Virginia State Police need help finding a missing baby who was abducted by a registered sex offender.
They issued an Amber Alert early this morning. A 1-year-old Kingsport girl who was the focus of an Amber Alert is safe, and her alleged kidnapper now facing charges.
That Amber Alert was issued yesterday. Kingsport police say Madeline Pearson's mother asked this woman, Brooke Hayes, to drive her and her daughter to Walmart around 1:30 Sunday morning. Police say the mother got out of the car to get a drink. When she came back, they were gone. Kingsport police later found Hayes and the child. Hayes is now facing charges of especially aggravated kidnapping and motor vehicle theft.
A Crime Watch alert this morning. An East Tennessee man.
2 Middle Tennessee parents charged in connection with the death of their child are scheduled to appear in court this morning. Joseph and Crystal Daniels will appear in a Dickson County, Tennessee courtroom for a preliminary hearing. Both are charged in connection with the death of Joe Daniels. Back in April, the boy's father reported him missing, sparking a massive search. But investigators eventually arrested Joseph Daniels and charged him with criminal homicide. Investigators accused him of killing his son and hiding his body. They are charging Crystal Daniels with aggravated child abuse. Search crews have yet to recover the boy's body. Happening tonight, Bristol, Virginia will hold a public meeting on plans to turn the city's vacant mall into a medical marijuana facility.
Local pharmaceutical company Part Ventures plans to buy the old mall, bringing more than 500 jobs to the city. Bristol City, we now know that.
Happening today, a Middle Tennessee community will pay their respects to an officer who was fatally shot by a wanted man. It was a story we followed closely out of Dickson County as police went on a 2-day manhunt for suspected gunman Stephen Wiggins. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says Wiggins shot Sergeant Daniel Baker during a call about a suspicious vehicle. A visitation service for Baker will be held this afternoon at First Baptist Church in Dickson. A funeral service will be held tomorrow.
New technology at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Office working to make your children safer at school.
Officers say a new incident command center allows officers to remotely access cameras inside each school in Sullivan County. For the past 3 years, Sullivan County Schools has used money from a Safe Schools grant to buy cameras. Now at the Sheriff's Office, officers can access those cameras and see inside any school in real time.
If we have an incident.
During an emergency situation, officers at the Sheriff's Office can direct officers through the school.
President Trump's personal legal team says the president cannot be forced to testify.
They also say he has the power to pardon himself. We will take a closer look at the claims they are making coming up on ABC Tri-Cities at 9.
maybe take a little snooze outside, you know?
A little hammock action.
little
Yeah,
hammock
that'd be nice.
outside.
Make sure you put on the sunblock, though.
Well, I mean, you want to
the
nap in the
hat.
shade, yeah.
Oh, do you? Is that how that works,
I mean,
Jeremy?
if you're going to be out in the sun, I mean, if you're going to be out in the sun, obviously, definitely wear the sunscreen.
I mean, you don't want to nap like right under the sun.
You know, that would be a bad idea.
I think it might.
It would make for a pretty painful week, regardless of the weather.
Yeah. Nap
All
in the
right.
pool.
Just happy
go.
to see the sunshine again.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Jeremy.
President Trump's legal team is arguing the president cannot be forced to testify and claims even if the president were found guilty of the crime, he has the power to pardon himself.
And this all comes after a leaked memo that the president's team wrote to the special counsel claiming that it's impossible for the president to be found guilty of obstruction of justice. ABC's Janae Norman explains from Washington.
President Trump.
A manhunt is underway in Arizona after investigators linked at least 3 homicides to the same killer.
They only have a sketch of the suspect. This is a look at it right here. Police say the killings began last Thursday when forensic psychiatrist Stephen Pitt was found shot to death in Phoenix. Pitt was involved in several high-profile cases like the JonBenet murder investigation. Police say a double homicide happened Friday when 2 paralegals were killed.
Is investigating. The 4th annual Tunnel to Towers climb was held at the One World Trade Center in New York on Sunday.
Hundreds of people took part in the trek up the steps of the building. The event honors fallen firefighter Stephen Siller, who ran through the Battery Tunnel in response to the 9/11 attacks. It also honors Fire Captain Billy Burke, who stayed behind to save people. He later died. Some of the family members of the Parkland, Florida school shooting victims were honorary starters in this year's climb.
Solo, a Star Wars story, topped the box office this weekend, but it's not all good news for the Ron Howard film.
Plus, Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't just play a hero in the movies, he's one in real life too, apparently. Find out why he jumped out of an Uber when we come back.
Turning to entertainment, actor Benedict Cumberbatch stopped an attack in London over the weekend.
And the latest Star Wars film was still #1 at the box office this weekend, but sales were down. With the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Christopher Watson.
Solo, a Star Wars story.
Graduating seniors from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School got a surprise at their commencement ceremony on Sunday.
The Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon was there to offer some laughter and encouragement almost 4 months after a deadly shooting on their campus.
Today you're
Fallon also shared a video of his address to Twitter on Sunday, where he also told students to, quote, keep changing the world. Time now is 9:23, and it's time to take a look at what's on tonight on ABC Tri-Cities.
After that, we'll have much more.
You're watching News Channel 11 on ABC Tri-Cities at 9.
Good morning. Time now is 9:26 on this Monday morning.
As you take a live look at...
Good morning. I'm Sydney Cameron.
And I'm Casey Marler. And we begin with a look at today's top stories.
Police are accusing a Kingsport woman of kidnapping another woman's baby this weekend. They say 28-year-old Brooke Hayes gave a mother and her child a ride to Walmart, but took off with the child and the car. An Amber Alert was issued. Police later found the two and arrested Hayes. She is now facing charges of especially aggravated kidnapping and motor vehicle theft.
An East Tennessee man.
One person is dead after a car crash on an area highway. Bristol, Tennessee police say it happened early Sunday morning on I-81 near Walnut Hill Road. That's not far from the Pinnacle exit. They say a driver went off the road and hit an embankment. The driver died at the scene. The victim's identity has not been released. Time now is 9:29, and we are in for some gorgeous, much needed weather today.
And it's off to a great start, isn't it, Jeremy?
Well, you know, it's all because of the wind direction, and we've had south winds last week that brought in all that.
Here is some guaranteed good news. Grab a knife, because today is National Cheese Day.
I know you love the sound of that, Casey.
I love cheese.
I know you do. The internationally loved food comes from pressed curds of milk from cows, buffalo, goats, or sheep. The texture and taste comes from temperature and aging, as well as seasonings that can be added as it's made.
While every nation in the world has their own variety, one can argue that Italy has harnessed the market. There are so many ways that you can honor National Cheese Day. One way, try a kind of cheese you've never tried before.
Oh, that's a great idea. How are you going to honor it?
By eating a cheese sandwich, like I do every day.
Wait, that's a thing?
Oh man, I love it. Piece of cheese, 2 pieces of bread, microwave for 25 seconds.
All right.
It's to die for.
I'll celebrate by eating some pizza.
There you
How
go.
about
That's
that?
not a bad way.
Homemade pizza with barbecue sauce.
Add a little extra cheese on there.
There you go.
Prince's estate has filed a lawsuit against an Oklahoma man.
We will tell you why just ahead. Plus, just a few hours from now, Apple will launch a new feature for the iPhone, and they hope it will get some iPhone users off their phones. Those stories and more next on ABC Tri-Cities at 9.
On Consumer Watch, Apple launching a new iPhone feature to help curb phone addiction at an event later today.
That's according to a recent Bloomberg report on new additions to help people monitor the time they spend on certain apps. I know my husband could really use this. Software updates and productivity tools are expected to be unveiled at Apple's annual developer conference in California. Apple could also preview improvements to its voice assistant Siri.
Another successful launch. We're in the middle of both the NBA Finals and the NHL Finals, and while fans might think they're into it now, the game may look a whole lot different years down the line, all stemming from a recent Supreme Court decision.
Omar Jimenez takes a look at the future of sports betting in America and why that future is a little closer than you think.
When it comes to sports,
Facebook facing another data dilemma.
The social media company released a blog post yesterday defending its practice of sharing Facebook user data with tablet makers and smartphone companies. This follows an investigation from the New York Times that reported Facebook has these sorts of deals with Apple, Microsoft, Samsung, and others. These agreements allow device makers access to users' background information like educational history, religion, and work status. Facebook officials say the partnerships allow the companies to build Facebook versions on their products. No comment from Apple, Microsoft, or Samsung yet.
Google won't renew a contract with the Pentagon. The deal, which runs through 2019, provides algorithms to interpret video images and improves the targeting of drone strikes. Prior to the announcement, several employees had quit and thousands more signed a petition asking Google CEO to cancel the project.
Investors keeping a close eye on Wall Street this morning. The Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 futures rose modestly Sunday as weekend trade talks between the U.S. and China ended with little progress. All three indexes were up last week following a strong jobs report, even with the possibility of a trade war looming over global markets.
And finally, Princess Estate. A new study could change the way breast cancer patients are treated.
A new discovery could spare tens of thousands of Americans from having to undergo chemotherapy. The finding of that new study just ahead on ABC Tri-Cities at 9.
On Medical Watch, it's a major health headline this morning. A landmark new study finds most women with the most common form of early-stage breast cancer can safely skip chemotherapy.
This finding could spare 70,000 Americans a year from the ordeal and the expense of chemo. ABC Maggie Rulli has more.
it's the largest.
Wow, that is amazing.
Science really is amazing, no doubt about that, and so many women will benefit.
Oh yeah. Well, time now is 9:44, and another popular area festival kicks off this week.
And you don't want to miss it. Elizabeth and
It's a nice change from all the wet weather we had last week.
I know you have to mention the rain because of the 7-day, but we are focusing on Monday through even Friday because that's only a 20% chance of rain.
Well, that's great.
given what we saw the last about 10 days, I'll even take those 20s and 30%.
Exactly.
And those are stepping in the right direction.
You know, Asheville had its wettest month of May ever. So it was just incredible amount of rain across the region. So, of course, that was all because of the tropical system we had last week. So things are really, really drying out.
And driving back from Georgia yesterday, going through Asheville, I mean, wow. For a minute there, we couldn't see the road. The rain was coming down so hard.
No need to worry about it today, though. Nothing but sunshine and blue
Put
skies.
the shades on and enjoy.
All right.